Hey, what's going on, everybody? Um, I got a lot of requests to do a settings like an attachment video of all my operators, and yeah, I'm just gonna get right into it and show you all of my attachments for every operator. So starting off with Sledge, I'm gonna mainly show off Flash Hider for almost every AR. I don't use anything besides Flash Hider unless it's I can't even think of it. Maybe once I get to the operator, I'll see if I'm using flash hider or not. But for sledge, it's just going to be vertical grip, flash hider, 1.5 scope. You can use angled grip. It's not really necessary for sledge. He's kind of a medium speed operator, so you're not going to be flying around everywhere. You don't need to really aim fast in gunfights. Same thing goes for Thatcher, just a different scope. It's going to be 2.0, but I'm going to have the flash hider again. For pistols, it's always muzzle brake in case anyone cared to see it. For the AR-33, same thing, flash hider, vertical grip. You can use angled grip for this gun. It doesn't have much recoil, but I don't find the benefit. For Ash, same thing, vertical grip, flash hider, and then yeah, the same thing for G36C, just angled grip this time because this gun has almost no recoil when I use it, so angled grip is fine. And it aims in a little bit slower than Ash's gun, so angled grip is decent there. Same thing for Thermite, flash hider, vertical grip. I don't really like angled grip on Thermite. You can use it, but I feel like his gun, it doesn't really make sense, but it feels more powerful when it has a vertical grip on. Um, Twitch, once again, flash hider. I use flash hider for, I'm sure, all of my ARs. I'll be surprised if I'm using anything else. I don't think I use extended barrel for any ARs just because ARs are already pretty strong. You don't need to slap an angled or an extended barrel on any of them. Not an angled grip, sorry. DMRs are always going to be muzzle brake just because it's single shot weapons and it reduces, like it says, the overall weapon kick of single shot firing. I'll never use it. Doesn't, DMRs don't come with compensator or flash hider anyways. It's usually just muzzle brake or suppressor. So I use muzzle brake. I don't use suppressor on DMRs. Pistols, muzzle brake. It's a single shot. Bearing 9, a lot of people asked about the bearing 9. I use flash hider for that as well. Scope, honestly, it does matter. So whatever scope you're comfortable with, I don't know why I'm using the red dot C, but if there's one scope I suggest for uh, the bearing 9 is the reflex B, because when you zoom in with the reflex B, it takes your gun completely away. Like you will not see your gun anymore. It's genuinely just a scope on the screen, so you have a better field of view and it's easier to see with the gun rather than if you do use a red dot such as red dot C, you will see the entire gun and it might block out something when you're in a gunfight and might get you killed. Um, Same thing for the AK. I use flash hider. Same thing for the LMG. Flash hider as well. Let's see. I'm just trying to see if there's any guns that I don't use flash hider on. Because besides that, all my ARs will have flash hiders. Because most people don't understand how flash hider and compensator work. So compensator says reduces horizontal movement while shooting. Yeah, it does that. You're not gonna really have horizontal recoil with any gun unless your horizontal sense is way too fast and you're just spinning around in the middle of your gunfights. Flash hider, it doesn't really give the best descriptions. Siege doesn't give the best descriptions of what each one does. Like when I switch between attachments, you can see in the bottom right corner there's like a recoil pattern that changes. And from what you can tell, muzzle brake would probably be the best option if you looked at the recoil pattern at the bottom right, because it's more consistent than flash hider. Flash hiders kind of blended in together. Compensators blended in together just a little bit higher. But the other thing that attachments do is when you're controlling a gun's recoil, let's say it kicks up for some reason. You know, you messed up your recoil in the middle of a gunfight. Flash hider brings your gun down to the center of the screen faster than a compensator would. So let's say I'm shooting, for example, what gun am I on? I'm shooting Ying's gun. You know, I couldn't control the recoil. It went up way too high. With a compensator, it'll take a little longer, maybe half a second or a second, which might not seem like a lot, but in Siege with gunfights, every second counts. It will bring my gun down slower than a flash hider would. So flash hider overall just has better benefits. Compensator also bothers me just because when I shoot my gun, it doesn't hide the flash like flash hider does. You'll see the actual fire come out of the gun. Um, because it doesn't, the point of the compensator is not to hide the flash, and sometimes it gets in my way, honestly, in gunfights. Sometimes it's a huge flash with some guns. Obviously LMGs are going to have a larger flash, some you know, weaker guns aren't going to have such a large flash, but it definitely does bother me in gunfights, and I think that was the main reason that I decided not to use compensator anymore. And compensator used to be what flash hider is now. Compensator was the go-to, was what everyone used, and some people are still sticking to it. I wouldn't suggest it. You know, if you want to use compensator, go ahead, it's up to you, but if you want overall general success in your gunfights, you're gonna want to use flash hider. It helps in many ways rather than compensator helping you in one way. What else? Yeah, I think I'm gonna get off the attackers. I genuinely do use flash hider on every single AR. Okay, let's see. I think the PDW. Okay, the PDW I'll use suppressor. Maybe I'll use extended barrel just because it's not the strongest gun. I'm trying to think what other guns I would use extended barrel for. Maybe Capital. Okay, I'll just generalize it so I don't have to go through every operator. So for most AR operators, AR attack operators, I'm going to use flash hider. For guns that have little to no recoil, so let me go through them. Let's see, guns that have little to no recoil. I'm trying to think. You can say that Fuse and Thermite and all these operators have no recoil, but once you take off the flash hider, you'll realize that it does get a little tricky to control the recoil. Capitao, Jackal's PDW, Nox FMG9, Iona's G36C, and honestly, that's about it. Those operators, I know it's very few. I would only use extended barrel most of the time on my defender ops just because submachine guns have lower damage naturally, so you're gonna use them over there where they actually matter. But yeah, those few operators would be what I would use extended barrel for, just because they virtually have no recoil, and why not add the extra damage? But besides that, the other guns, like you're thinking that Sledge, you might think that Sledge has no recoil, but if you take off the flash hider and put extended barrel, which I have tried, you won't realize the difference in recoil once you try it. For smokes SMG11, I use flash hider and vertical grip. I would never use angled grip. It does you no benefit. This gun already aims in fast enough. Angled grip is not going to save you. Um, Flash hider for the FMG9, but you can use extended barrel. I use extended barrel on knock. I don't use the FMG9 on smoke anyways. Submachine guns, once again, submachine guns, most of them I'm going to have flash hider on, just because it's probably my favorite muzzle attachment. For Pulse's gun, I will use extended barrel because his gun once again has no recoil, and the damage that the extended barrel adds on is a lot. 5 damage is a big deal for Pulse's gun, and especially since his fire rate is 600, it's super slow. That extra damage will probably, you know, help you win your gunfights just because you can't shoot that many bullets out of your gun, and whichever ones you land hopefully kills them since your gun's stronger. Doc's gun, P90 or MP5, I'm using flash hider. You can use extended barrel on this gun. I wouldn't. It makes the recoil a little wonky. Capcan, you can definitely use extended barrel on. I should use extended barrel. Even though Capcan's getting banned every time I play a game, I see Capcan banned, but Capcan with extended barrel, I suggest. Jaeger and Bandit is going to be flash hider. Frost, I've been using flash hider on her, even though extended barrel was the only muzzle that she had for a long time, and then they introduced all of these muzzles to her. Um, she has no recoil. Her damage is already pretty good, and her fire rate's decent for a gun with a 1.5 and a more passive operator rather than Pulse is a little more attacking. She's obviously a slower operator. She's a 2-speed. You can go ahead and use extended barrel. 4 damage is not that big of a deal. I feel like 5 or more, because I see some guns with 6 damage increase with the extended barrel, then I suggest you use it. But with 4 damage increase, it's just going to go back to her regular gun before nerf. And her regular gun before nerf compared to her gun now it hasn't made that much of a difference. Um, yeah, that's Frost. Valkyrie, you can use extended barrel for Valkyrie, but I do have an angled grip on for Valkyrie's gun, not Warden's gun. And yeah, since I have angled grip on, I'd rather not use an extended barrel as well. I probably will mess up the recoil if I use both. Kavera extended barrel, her gun, in my opinion, is like a pea shooter for some reason. Even though it has a faster fire rate than Pulse and it has more damage without the extended barrel, I use the extended barrel. And as you can see, if you use an extended barrel, it gives you 6 damage. So most people use extended barrel because they feel like it'll kill people faster. If it's giving the gun 3 or 4 damage more increase, it's probably going to take the same amount of shots that it would before. It's just you visually seeing that it increases the damage that you're thinking like, oh, let me just add extended barrel to all my guns because I'll win my gunfights faster and it'll kill them faster. Not necessarily, not for every gun. If a gun that takes 4 shots, you add an extended barrel to, it's most likely going to take 4 shots once again to kill him. Maybe the first 2 shots are going to be stronger, but then it's going to drop off depending on the range back to its original form, and it's going to end up killing the guy within 4 shots, and you can maybe get 3 shots off for a kill depending on where you hit the person. But for most of the time, extended barrel is not going to make that much of a kill difference. So I feel like for Valkyrie, for example, if you add an extended barrel, it goes from 26 to 29 damage. And where is Doc? Where is he? Oh, he's a little back. Where are you, Doc? Okay. Doc's gun naturally is 27 damage. You add an extended barrel, it's 31. Even then, it makes no damage difference or kill difference. Valkyrie's gun goes from 26 to 29. 27 to 29, for example, isn't that much of a difference. It's not going to determine if you kill someone faster. If you go over 30 to maybe 31, or no, not even 31, 32 or 33, then I understand. It's probably going to get you 1 shot less to kill, but a few damage points is not going to save you a shot to kill. What operator was I on? I was on Cav. Echo, built-in suppressor, not much you can do. I use angled grip. His gun doesn't really have much recoil. Mira, flash hider or extended barrel is good. Her gun is very, very weak. Thank God it's 1200 fire rate, super fast, but it burns through the ammo like crazy, so you hopefully want to get as many shots on your opponent as fast as possible, but at the same time you want it to do a little bit of damage. So extended barrel, I understand why people would use it, but I personally most of the time will either use, honestly, flash hider, or I've been using suppressor recently on Mira just because it feels cleaner, but there's no benefit to it. Suppressor also doesn't take off damage points as it did before. I think it was this season that they added that in, where Suppressor wouldn't bother the damage points on any guns. So yeah, feel free to use suppressor if you already like the damage of the gun or the feel of the gun. Lesion, flash hider. For Oryx's gun though, I will use suppressor. It just feels way smoother with the 1.5 and suppressor. I feel like I'm just hitting headshots 24/7, so I don't need flash hider to control my recoil. Ella is one that is a little hard to control for most people. Flash hider once again is best. Vertical grip, I wouldn't use angled grip on Ella unless you're cheating or if you have a macro or your mouse and keyboard, whatever you are, you have to have some sort of mechanical advantage to control recoil on angled grip. You know, unless you're the best player in the game, but this gun automatically, if you use an angled grip, it's gonna shoot left and right, and compensator won't even save you for horizontal movement reduction. It's just sometimes the gun goes crazy, but they've shadow nerfed it, shadow buffed it, and honestly, I feel like it's balanced at the moment. It has very fast fire rate. Extended barrel is not on this gun. 23 damage. It's a headshot machine because most people have decent crosshair placement on console these days, but it kicks up a little bit, so it ends up hitting the head a bunch. And it actually works out for me and probably a bunch of other players. So yeah, just use flash hider. Don't put an angled grip on it. Not necessary. Vigil's gun, flash hider, vertical grip. If you want to change the combination for Vigil's gun, you can do angled grip and flash hider, or you can do vertical grip and flash hider, or vertical grip and extended barrel, but I wouldn't combine extended barrel with angled grip. The recoil does get pretty bad. For my SMG 12, no grip. I didn't even know that you couldn't have a muzzle. But vertical grip, definitely not angled grip on the SMG 12. It's already hard to control. There's no point of hurting yourself and putting an angled grip on it. It already aims in fast enough. It's a compact gun. Vertical grip for Maestro, flash hider, no suppressor or muzzle brake or anything. I don't use muzzle brake on any other guns besides DMRs, I'm sure of it. And DMRs and pistols. So it's going to be flash hider and extended barrel most of the time. Alibi, extended barrel is okay. I use flash hider once again. Clash, who cares about Clash? You can use extended barrel on Cade. His gun's already strong enough. It's not necessary, but if you want to, you can. Mozzie, I've seen a lot of people using extended barrel on Mozzie. It's just like the Valkyrie situation. It goes from 26 to 29. You feel like it does a difference, but it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't increase it enough to the point where it's going to get you one shot less to kill, just like Valkyrie's gun. Warden, I use angled grip because he has a 1.5, but flash hider once again. You can use vertical grip and then slap an extended barrel on it. That's not bad either. It feels better just because 1.5 extended barrel, you can engage in long range gunfights, and an extended barrel always helps in those situations. Goyo once again has a 1.5, so you can put an extended barrel on it if you wanted to, just because sometimes I see people fighting people from 30 meters of range in gunfights. Oryx, you can use extended barrel. He has a 1.5. I use suppressor. Malusi, I use flash hider, vertical grip, flash hider for the P10 on a Rooney. Obviously, I use the muzzle brake on the DMR. Thunderbird's gun, I use a flash hider and vertical grip. Azami, I use, I don't have Azami on this account, but on other accounts I do. But for Azami, I will not use the hollow D. I'll just use either hollow B or I do like the red dot B. I think it's a really good scope. I suggest people try it out. People kind of throw it to the side. It's a good scope. But yeah, flash hider, vertical grip. For Solus, flash hider, holographic. And yeah, that's about it. So, just like a general recap, I didn't go through every single operator on attack just because I know that all of these guns in the first row, let me make sure. Yeah, all of the guns in the first row besides IQ's commando will be flash hider. IQ's commando I will use um, extended barrel on. That gun has no recoil. It's and then um, if you take off the extended barrel, it takes off quite a bit of damage. It's a big damage drop off if you don't use it. 47 to 54. That's whoa. I can't do math. 7 damage. That's you get 7 damage on an extended barrel for the commando. As if the gun doesn't hit hard enough. You put an extended barrel on it. You're probably two-shotting, max three-shotting people. It's close to DMR damage on an AR. It's pretty scary. But besides that, for the first row, I will be using flash hider for every gun. The second row, I will be using flash hider for every gun except Capitao, Jackal's PDW, and Nox FMG. Jackal's regular gun gets a flash hider. His gun's perfect the way it is, his main gun. He gets banned anyway, so it doesn't even matter. I said it more for OSA's PDW since they have the same gun, but yeah. And then for the last row, Iona, I will use extended barrel for. I won't use it on Ash. She's a 3 speed, and I usually use angled grip for her G3. So I wouldn't want to put an extended barrel on it as well because I might mess up the recoil. But about 4 to 5 operators I'll be using extended barrel on. And most of them I will be using um, vertical grip on. And then almost all, if not all, are going to be using flash hider. And then onto defenders for like the notorious guns like SMG-11, Mozzie's P10 Roni, Oryx's gun, probably going to use flash hider or suppressor. Most of these guns are going to have um, flash hider once again, just like the attackers. But some guns with no recoil, such as Pulse, Castle, Capcan, you can use it on Frost. Caveira for sure. I highly suggest Caveira extended barrel. Um, what else? Warden, you can use it on Warden. You can use it on Goyo. Oryx is can try it out. Zombie, no. And does Solus have a extended barrel? She does. I would never use it. I don't even know what the damage difference is. Let's see. Yeah, 22 to 25. It's virtually useless. 3 damage points. It's not gonna help you win your gunfights. But yeah, that's about it. If you're using a long range scope, extended barrel isn't a bad idea. It's usually easier to control recoil on long range scopes. Flash hider for your closer gunfights. Um, suppressor on whatever you like, honestly, just because it doesn't change the damage. Um, yeah, that's about it. I didn't want to go too heavy into detail on every other operator because I almost have the same attachment lineup for almost every gun. And if my loadout's different, it's only for a few ops which I mentioned, so I can say that those are once again potentially Ash, 100% IQ. Habana's gun, I can use it, I don't use it. Jackal's PDW, Nox gun, and who else did I mention? Capitao, of course. G360 Iona, and then on defense, Castle, Pulse, Capcan, Frost. Could use it on Valkyrie. Highly suggest Caveira. Mira potential, not really for myself. Um, Warden, Goyo, Oryx is okay. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you got my you understood what my loadouts look like. if you need me to go in depth with every single operator and every single gun, such as shotguns and all that stuff, even though they're pretty much the same, I can make a separate quick video for that. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully that helped you out.